The United Nations Security Council has approved a plan to send international forces to Haiti as the country faces a wave of gang violence and increasing poverty. Kenya will lead the security mission. The main goal will be to restore peace so that Haiti can hold its long-delayed elections. For more on this, we're joined by my old friend, Garry Pierre-Pierre. He is the founder and publisher of the Haitian Times and a former Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter at the New York Times. Garry, it's great to see you. So can you just, for our viewers who, there's so much happening in the United States right now that they may not have Haiti front of mind, describe the situation in Haiti now and what specifically is happening around gang violence.
Thanks for having me, Vlad. It's a pleasure to be here. What's happening is that for the last 4 years or so, as you know, Haiti has been a lockdown. Gangs have been running rampant, terrorizing the population, and the United States and the United Nations have been trying to broker some kind of deal to help the country get back to some sort of normalcy. And so this week, the United Nations approved a force being led by Kenya to go to Haiti, police officers to go to Haiti to fight alongside of the Haitian National Police to fight the gangs.
So explain the significance of the UN Security Council approving sending a Kenyan-led force to Haiti, and who requested it?
Well, the Haitian government about last year requested, they admitted that they were unable to deal with the gangs. And so the US and the UN have been sort of like debating the request because, you know, this is the third rodeo. The UN has been to Haiti and the US since about 1994 to restore President Aristide, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who was overthrown. And then the country has just like been stuck in trying to move forward in the democratic process.
So, Garry, as you know, there's a long history of international countries either meddling in Haiti's internal policies and domestic affairs, or in some cases, in the case of the United States in 1915 to 1934, outright occupying the country. And so because of that, Haitians have not everybody is on board, even if they recognize that there are serious problems in Haiti. But I wonder if you can sort of lay bare for us the discussions that are happening. You have the diaspora who, in many cases, are the ones saying that there should be an international force sent to stabilize the country. You have many people living in the country who say no. But who should ultimately decide the fate of Haitians, if not the people in the country? There are some who will say, even if things are the way that they are, we want to be the masters of our own destiny.
Well, absolutely. It's complicated, Vlad, as you know very well. The problem is, as you laid out, is that there's a history here that the international community hasn't been so kind or so fair to Haiti. But the reality is Haiti needs this help. The Haitian National Police is compromised. About 40% of the force is sympathizing with the gangs or actual members of the gangs. Every police incursion into gang territory has been a disaster, basically a suicide mission, because the gangs have prior knowledge of the operation. And so something has to give. I have relatives, I have friends who live in Haiti. Things are really, really bad there right now. And so at the end of the day, we cannot continue with the status quo. But I agree the Haitians have to have a say in their own destiny. I hope this time that the UN can help pacify the situation, lead to elections, and then let the Haitians decide their destiny. But right now, something has to give, and Haiti needs this force to help the police in Haiti restore order.
Garry, we just have about a minute left, but there's one sort of, I think, kind of bright spot that's happening. The border between Haiti and the Dominican Republic has been closed over issues regarding a canal that is being built by Haitians. And what I've seen in the images that have come in are Haitians coming together, uniting in building this canal and resisting what they see as a threat by the Dominican government to close off Haiti's commerce. Can you just briefly, in like 30 seconds, describe that for us?
Well, yeah, it's been incredible how, to your point earlier, like if you let the Haitian people decide, they can come up with their solution. This is really something, an example of that. Basically, the farmers in Haiti need that access to that water, and the Dominican Republic has been against them building a canal to have part of the water of the that they share with the River Massacre. And so people have come all over, artists in the United States, Haitian American artists. People have donated money for Haitians to build this canal because it's a matter of life and death for Haitians in the northern part of Haiti.
All right.
All right. Garry Pierre-Pierre, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.